Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Just gonna wait for you guys to start tuning in. Hi, Instagram. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Facebook. Come on in. Come on in. I have a good topic for you guys today. Good morning, Keystone. Good morning, Terry, and Instagram. If this is your first time, definitely let me know in the comments so I can give you a shout out. Thank you, Terry. Trying something new. If you know me, you know this is me going over my comfort zone. But thank you, I appreciate it. Good morning, Keystone. Sure, ask your question. If I can answer it, I'll answer it. I have a good topic for you guys today. Today, I want to talk about requests for additional evidence and notice of intent to deny. Ari Kelly, good morning. This is your first time. Well, welcome. Welcome. Yes, Brandon, good morning on Facebook. I'm having a great week so far. I just got back from the Dominican Republic last night. And I just want to say, Dominican Republic is such a beautiful country. The people are so wonderful, so humble, just wanting to make sure that everybody's having a great time. And if you've never been, you definitely need to go visit the Dominican Republic. Beautiful, beautiful country. Anywho, I went there to celebrate my 12th year wedding anniversary. So we're back to reality, but grateful for the opportunity to go. And, my goal is that everybody gets to, not be trapped in this country, that you get to go on vacation and visit family and celebrate with your family, your loved ones. And that's why, if you qualify for something, you definitely should take advantage and apply so that you have the opportunity to not be so stagnant in your life. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Chidolwe. I'm an immigration attorney. I have an office here in Atlanta and another in Florida. We represent clients all over the United States with their family immigration matter. So if that is you or your friend, your cousin, definitely share this video. Let them know so that we can assist them. The number here is 407-995-6567, and WhatsApp is 404-333-8751. Igbo Proud, hey, thank you for joining for the first time. I'm Igbo too, and I am definitely Igbo Proud. So today I want to talk about, RFEs or NOID. So let's first break it down. What does that mean? So when you hear the word an RFE in the world of immigration, an RFE basically means a request for evidence, right? And an NOID means a notice of intent to deny. So these are two very different documents and mean two different things. And the question is, should you panic? What does this mean? So when you get an RFE, it depends on what the RFE is asking for. A lot of times an RFE just means that based on what you've submitted, they can't make a decision on the case. So either they're missing something, there's not enough bona fides, there's not enough proof to show cohabitation. If you did like a marriage-based case, your affidavit of support, the information is not enough to determine if that person is eligible. So there are different things like that that can result in an RFE. It is important that when you get an RFE, although that is not like a death sentence, that you take it very seriously. The reason being is when you get an RFE, whatever you submit will be taken as all your answer, meaning they are going to make a decision on your case based on that. At that point, if you don't send all they ask them to, they can then deny your case and say, well, we asked you for this and you still didn't send that, or you didn't send all the things we asked you on that list, so we're going to go ahead and deny this case. So it's really important that you're sending every single thing that they ask you for in an RFE. So now, if you receive a notice of intent to deny, I would panic, and that is just the God honest truth. Like as you guys know me, I'm a straight shooter. I don't believe in lying to my clients, or selling or painting this glamorous dream. Yes, we're good at what we do. Yes, we get people approved or get a notice of intent to deny overturned. But it is important that you understand how serious this is and that you take it seriously. I noticed Tyler says, "Oh my God, seems like you haven't gone live in forever. We miss you, and congratulations for hinting." Thank you so much. Yes, I was on vacation. I was celebrating my 12th year wedding anniversary with my husband. So we're in the DR, and we just got back last night. So I am back. And thank you. Yes, thank you all for following me and helping me reach 10K on Instagram. I really appreciate it. So when you get a notice of intent to deny, basically they're saying we have all we need, and based on all we need, we are planning to deny you. So unless you're coming back with a rebuttal that we don't know of, you will be getting denied, is what it means. And this usually is like the death sentence, not literally, but figuratively speaking. So when you get a notice of intent to deny, do not try and play around. Like, you're not getting a second, choice. Your NOID can either get you denied and banned from ever filing for a green card, or it can get you approved. NOIDs a lot of time come because either you go to an interview and you and your spouse mess up royally, and basically they're like, this marriage is definitely a sham, or you go to an interview and they decide, you know what, there's something fishy here, we're going to go do some home inspection or our own investigation, and then they go do their own investigation and they're like, you know what, something is up, we're going to deny you. Or another thing is some new information that they found out that was not disclosed. So NOIDs are not generally good. They're not generally good. Can you be approved after an NOID? Sure. As a matter of fact, I got good news that one of our clients with an NOID yesterday, they requested a medical, which means that they're approving her, which is wonderful. But it was also wonderful for that client that he took it seriously, hired an attorney, and we were able to attack everything, because similar to a request for additional evidence, with an NOID, you have to attack everything. You have to make sure as an attorney, well, if you're working with an attorney, which you should be when you have an NOID, make sure that you're making arguments to make sure that USCIS understands that they cannot say that your client has a marriage sham case. Right? What does a marriage sham mean? It means like a case based on a fraudulent marriage. Because if USCIS in your NOID says, we feel that your marriage is fraudulent, they may say it in different words, like depending on the officer, they may write it differently. Or we feel like your marriage is a sham, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you are making arguments to make sure they understand that your marriage is not a sham. Because if they deny you on that basis, you're not going to be able to get your green card again. So this is it's a very, very punitive statement for USCIS to make. So you don't want that. And so with an NOID, with an RFE, you have to take it very seriously, just like you would with an NOID. But, I wouldn't panic as much with an RFE if we can answer those questions as I would with an NOID. Think about it this way. An NOID means that the officers have already made their mind that they're denying you. So you better have a really good argument, coming forward. An RFE, they've not made up their mind. They just don't have all the facts on the table. So that's really the difference when you're trying to decide that, okay? Youngers on Facebook, good morning from Washington State. Good morning, Novelette. All right, guys, let me answer some of your questions. Let's see what we have here. What if your case status says RFE, but you received a prima facie on the same day, and 6 months later you receive one more, but the status still says RFE? So you're specifically talking about VAWA cases. We're actually seeing a lot of that and that's why I don't take seriously what USCIS case status says, because they make a lot of errors, which cause like undue panic for a lot of people. Generally, sometimes like they may issue a prima facie, but on their right RFE, and then clients begin to panic, like, well, where's the RFE? I never got any RFE because there was never one. So I would focus more on what you've received. Especially if the RFE coincides with the exact same day that your prima facie was issued, then you know that that's most likely an error, because we've seen that happen a lot recently. This never used to happen before, but it happens a lot now. I've got an RFE for my daughter because they're saying my husband does not make enough, but he does make over 40,000 a year. So this goddess, this is actually a very good question. And I just want to talk about this for a second because a lot of times people think that, oh, my spouse is making 50,000, making 60,000, making 40,000, whatever, so they make enough money. What people don't realize is that they count how much you're making based on whether you're eligible to petition for the immigrant based on how many people you're responsible for. Meaning, if your husband makes 40,000, for instance, but he files taxes, and there are a few things here that could be throwing him off. And without an evaluation, I can't tell you, but I'm just going to tell you generally what we see. One is that your husband might be making $40,000, but his adjusted gross income does not show $40,000. This is especially true for people who are 1099s, meaning you're a contractor, you're self-employed, because you're deducting. By the time USCIS looks on your AGI is showing 15,000, but in reality, you made 70,000. So if you're filing taxes for someone and you're on the cusp of that, you want to be very careful when you're deducting because you want to know what your AGI is. The second thing it could be is taxes, or when you're filing an affidavit of support for somebody, financial affidavit of support to petition for your spouse or whomever, you have to count based on your family size to determine how much you should make. For instance, if you're a family of two, meaning you absolutely have nobody in your family, you don't have any children, you should show that you make over $23,000, right? If you have one child that is under 18 and your spouse that you're filing for, you should show that you make over $28,000. And the same goes for a family of three, a family of four, a family of five. So it's not just, I have a number, that number should be good. It's how many people, how many dependents do you have? How many people are you claiming on your taxes? How many children do you have that are under 18? So all of those things are looked at. Have you ever petitioned for anybody else before, in the last 6 months? They're going to be adding all those people to make your total tally. That is another reason why you might get an RFE, because they can determine, that based on that 40,000 you've written, that he actually is able to petition. Another thing that we see is if they file for you but don't have signed taxes. So here's the thing, guys, and for those of you who are my clients, you can attest to this. Like, I do not want your tax returns. I do not want your TurboTax returns, your 1040 that you just filed with your accountant or whatever it is. Go and get an IRS tax transcript. An IRS tax transcript is the only true proof that you filed taxes. I can go print out something from TurboTax, but how does USCIS know that I filed it? So save yourself the trouble of USCIS saying, well, this is not signed. Because believe it or not, I would say 85% of people who submit their taxes to us have not signed those taxes, because most people file their taxes online. They don't even know their PIN number, right? They just get something. They just send something. Oh, say, there's a draft. Here's a draft. This is what my accountant filed. 85% of people have not signed those taxes, and USCIS is not going to accept taxes that both parties haven't signed. And if they've been signed, you still want to show W-2s showing that you meet that income requirement, right? You still want to show a letter of employment showing that, you're currently eligible to continue working, and this is how much you make. But make your life easier and get an IRS tax transcript. You have two ways to get an IRS tax transcript. Go on the IRS website. You can get it online, or you can have them mailed to your house in 7 to 10 business days. In order for you to get it online, you have to either have one of 3 or one of 4 things that will help verify your identity. Either a mortgage, a credit card, a car loan, or a student loan. If you're able to identify any of those things so that they can identify you, and obviously a cell phone where they can text you, then you can get your IRS tax transcript online. And you can get several years. I want to say it's up to the last 5 years, or maybe it was even 7 years. I don't remember, so don't quote me on that. But you can get all the tax transcripts you need. So if that is what's going on with you, goddess, the easiest way is to get the tax transcript from online. Once you get it, you want to look at the adjusted gross income to make sure of what your husband's salary is. Once you determine your husband's salary, then you want to compare it based on how many people he has as a dependent to determine if he doesn't need it or not. And if that's the case, then you would need a joint sponsor. Your joint sponsor must be a US citizen or a 10-year green card holder. Okay. All right, let's see what other questions I have. Is it possible for an I-485 to be approved while in removal proceedings without marriage? Without knowing what your I-485 is on, I can't answer that. If you're in removal, the immigration judge is the one who has the jurisdiction to approve your I-485. So, I'm not really sure what your I-485 is being approved based on the basis of if it's not marriage. Everbless says, does USCIS look like they're working, Miss Aisha? I mean, I would assume so. We get results every day and receipts every day, so I assume they're working. It's just the millions of people that send immigration petitions. So, it might not be as quick as you want, but they're working. I mean, some people are really lucky. We got an interview notice today for somebody's naturalization that we submitted less than a month ago on June 19th. Sometimes some people are really lucky, like I always say, like every other month or every 3 months, we always have somebody that's just really lucky. We applied for somebody's work permit June 27th. So what's today? Today is July 11th, and they got their work permit approved 2 days ago. So I said 2 days ago on Friday. So more than 2 days ago, but basically it literally took less than 7 days. These are not normal, but sometimes that happens. But most people will fall in the normal process and timeline, unfortunately. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, Louise said, I sent an RFE response over 10 months ago and nothing yet. Should I be worried? Well, what kind of case do you have? Because that's all really dependent. And was this RFE after an interview or before an interview? Because all those things make a difference. So Believer said, is it normal after receiving an EAD card, a month later, USCIS sends you a biometrics appointment letter? And for those of you who don't know what an EAD card, that just means your work permit, your employment authorization document. It can happen. It depends on if your initial biometrics was bypassed or it's past the timeline of when when they've had your most recent biometrics and they want a fresh one. So you should always attend your biometrics appointment, even if you've gone for one, still attend it, okay? Let's see what else we have here. Caution says, my husband doesn't want to sign the papers to petition for me and my daughter. What do I do? I would suggest scheduling a consultation so that we can screen you to see if you qualify for a self-petition, because usually there's some red flags when a spouse doesn't want to help their spouse be legal, because if you have a spouse, you want your spouse to be legal so that they wouldn't be taken away from you. That's what a normal spouse does. So if they're not signing, these are red flags, but we'll need to evaluate and see if it arises to the level, of it. I've been married since 2017. She still has a green card. She's now filing for me. Can I file abandonment? Well, is your wife? There's no such thing as abandonment, by the way. Whenever clients say, "Can I file for abandonment?" There's no such thing as abandonment. Do you're basically trying to say you want to self-petition, like you want to present a valid case based on cruelty from your spouse abandoning you. So without more, I can't really give you an answer. I would have to evaluate your case and see exactly what the dynamics of your relationship is, and see if you qualify to self-petition. Okay. Um, Filed for voucher for me and my child, and my child was approved for work permit and travel permit, but my work permit and travel permit are still pending. Have you seen this before with any of your clients? Oh yeah, it happens all the time. I'm sure yours will probably come, within the month, so don't worry. Can an iwi qualify for advanced parole? So an iwi means somebody who entered without inspection. That's what EWI means, entry without inspection. So if you entered without inspection, first of all, you cannot adjust your status based on marriage. You have to consular process. You have to go back to your home country after a waiver has been approved, which in and of itself is very difficult to get. Now, if you're a VAWA applicant who came here iwi, meaning you entered without any inspection, you can qualify for advanced parole, and you can leave the country if you've never faced any removal cases, you've never been in deportation proceedings, you don't have an NTA out on you, and stuff like that. Okay, I can take only 2 more questions, and then I gotta jump off to meetings for the day. Can you adopt your little sister as your daughter and then file for her with your green card? That's up to you and the country of adoption, as long as you follow the adoption requirements, in the country you're from, and there's a legal adoption that's done, and you're able to prove that to USCIS and, satisfy the 2-year residency requirement of being with that child or that little sister. Then you can apply for consular processing for that person. Okay. How long does it take to receive your passport after your interview? So USCIS does not give you your passport. I'm assuming that you're talking about naturalization. Naturalization is when you become a citizen. What you generally get when you're approved, usually if they approve you for naturalization, your oath ceremony is not too long after the naturalization interview. Usually, a couple of weeks later, what you get is a certificate of naturalization. When you get your certificate of naturalization, then you have to apply to the U.S. passport agencies for your U.S. passport. Right now, there is a delay. I actually had to do this in March for my own self personally. So normally an expedite that would take maybe like 3 weeks, it's taken like 6 weeks, and a normal passport that would take 4 weeks is taking like 11 to 14 weeks. So you would apply to the U.S. passport to get that on your own. Kiara says, can VAWA get you out of removal proceeding? Possibly, but you have to get approved before a motion to terminate can be filed. Yeah, but we've done it for some of our clients. Okay. Good morning. Tina says, I married a green card holder in 2019 on Facebook. How long before I can put in for the I-130? You could have put in for the I-130 since 2019. The only thing that you might not be eligible for is the 485. You cannot apply for a green card. You can only apply for an I-130 because your spouse is a green card holder. If your spouse is a green card holder on the basis of marriage, you cannot adjust your status. If they do approve your spouse, his I-130 petition for you, then you can do a hardship waiver. If your hardship waiver is approved based on your spouse, then you would have to go back to your home country and finish the process. Unless your spouse becomes a U.S. citizen before that time, then you can try and adjust your status. Okay? All right, guys, I gotta jump off. I will see you guys on Friday live at 1, I think it's 1:30. But thank you guys for tuning in. Share my video with your friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, anyone who you think this will be beneficial to. If you want to call to schedule an appointment with our office, 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333 8751. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.